Good day, students. Today, for our Grade 2 Social Studies revision lesson, we will do the same as we have done the previous few lessons by doing an open book test. And for this open book test or revision test, you will require your Social Studies student book to complete the test. I will ask you a question in turn. You'll also see it on your screen. You'll look up the answer in your student book, and the questions will be set and the answers will be shown to you on the pages that we will be reading. So with that said, we're going to have a look at the questions first, then going to our relevant pages that we will be reading in our student books to find these answers. So we are still on the chapter, Other Achievements of Early People, the Persians this time. The question 1 we will find on page 89. Complete the sentence. The Persians started a what? That was used throughout their empire. And here we have a clue for you. Look at the pictures. Number 2 on page 89 as well. Complete the sentence. The Persians built a what between the Red Sea and the Nile River? What is this? Look at the picture. Question 3. Complete the following sentence. Persia had one of the first what? What are these? Then historical records. Question 3 on page 91. We will find this answer. And you answer this question on the picture that we see here on our right. What is the name of the pillar? We're going to have to read very carefully on these pages, page 91 specifically. And question number 3.2, how many laws did it record? So we will have a look at what the pillar's name is and how many laws was recorded on this pillar. And question 491 as well. Answer the questions on the picture. Once again, what does the writings in the picture represent? What does the writings in the picture represent? And question 4.2, complete the sentence. Treaty or a treaty was set up to settle and what between two countries? What was going on between two countries? So we're going to have to read carefully and understand what we are reading. Question number 5, we have a 5.1 and a 5.2 as well. Question was, complete the following sentence, 5.1. The Assyrians built the first library in what? The Assyrians built the first library in what? 5.2. It contained what? Clay tablets. It contained what? Clay tablets. In other words, how many? We will have a look at the numbers there on page 92. Page 93, complete the sentence. The Egyptians measured length in what? What did they use as a measuring device or unit? What is the picture below called? What is this picture? We will have a look at that picture in our book, and that is then the end of our questions that we should keep in mind when we are reading the pages. And where will we start? Remember that our first question was on page 89. Just to remind us that our first question was on page 89, and we will work our way to question 7, where we need page 93 in our student book. So going to our student books on page 89, we will start reading here. The Persians started a monetary system that was used throughout the empire. They built a canal between the Red Sea and the Nile River. This was a forerunner to the modern Suez Canal. They also improved the network of roads. And here we see some of the clues that we will be having a look at in our questions. We have the Persian gold coin. We have modern Saudi money on our right. On the left, we have the ancient canal. And now we have the modern Suez Canal. And we also have the old Royal Road in Persia. Now we have our modern Middle East highways that we use these days. Going on to page 90. Persia had one of the first postal systems. Messengers carried mail on horseback both day and night. Relay stations were built so that a horse could run the distance without getting tired or thirsty. Then the messenger reached the station. He would swap his horse for a fresh one. This meant that mail arrived as quickly as possible. We also saw a few weeks back that these messengers on their horses, they would completely swap the horseman and the horse, and have a fresh horseman and horse to take the message further. So here's a little diagram on how we used to send messages and how we send messages today, obviously using everything via the internet, which is much faster. Then historical records. There's the picture that we need to know. This pillar recorded the Hammurabi's code. 282 laws made by King Hammurabi of Babylon. It was displayed in the city square. So today you can see part of it at a museum called the Louvre in France, Paris. This was one of the first treaties. Here we see that picture that we will need again for our questions and answers. This was one of the first treaties to settle an argument between two places. In the treaty, the Hittites and Egyptians agreed not to attack one another and to also help to protect one another. So there was a treaty because there might have been a misunderstanding previously between the two nations, which could have led to war. So there we have our first pages that we needed to know. Also, we need to read and continue on page 92 and 93. The Assyrians built the first library in Nineveh. This library contained 25,000 clay tablets. One of the library's clay tablets, here we see the story of the Great Flood. Here we have many ways that we are printing these days. We're not even printing these days, but we are keeping everything as a soft copy because we are trying to divert from using paper in modern times. Then on page 93, we have the Egyptians measured length in cubits. Remember this. A cubit was the length from the tip of the forefinger to the elbow. Later, the standard cubit was equal to 52 centimeters. Egyptians also divided the cubit into shorter measurements. Right, so one cubit was 7 palms, and 1 palm is equal to 4 fingers wide. So there you have the cubits in measurements, like a ruler type thing. Then the Egyptian surveyors used measuring instruments for building. The merkit was made from a palm leaf. Surveyors gazed through the slit to set out a straight line. They used the X-shaped groma to make square corners and plumb lines to ensure surfaces were level. And there we have the merkit, the groma, and to find the plumb line. And that is then our last page that we will be using for our revision lessons and also for this revision open book test. Going to our answer keys. We got the questions as follows. The first question was, complete the sentence. The Persians started a monetary system that was used throughout the empire. Number 2, the Persians built a canal, is the answer. They built a canal between the Red Sea and the Nile River. Question number 3 was, complete the sentence. Persia had one of the first postal systems. This is obviously a letter that is sent. Question number 3.1. What is the name of the pillar? The pillar was the Hammurabi's code. Okay. 3.2. How many laws did it record? 282 laws were recorded. 4.1 on page 91. What does the writings in the picture represent? It represents a treaty. 4.2. Complete the sentence. The treaty was set up to settle an argument between the two countries. Question number 5. 5.1. Complete the sentence. The Assyrians built the first library in Nineveh. 5.2. It contained 25,000 clay tablets. 6.1. We have to complete the sentence again. The Egyptians measured length in cubits. And what is the picture below called? It is called a merkit. And that brings us to the end of our last revision lesson. And this we will find on the pages that we have read, starting on page 89, page 90, 91, and page 92. This is the end of this lesson.